Hi boys, I hope you are doing extremely well and that you are more confident with your general ledger after the informal assessment that you had last week. This video will deal with the memo of posting exercise 2, and as I've said to you in the beginning of the week, is that from now on, whenever we deal with the general ledger, we will focus only on what we call the big 6 accounts. And these 6 accounts are trading inventory, bank, debtors control, creditors control, sales, and cost of sales. And the reason why we only focus on these 6 accounts is because if you are able to post to these 6 accounts, it shows us that you have all of the fundamentals of posting in place. Okay, so posting exercise 2 says, the following opening balances appeared in the general ledger of Stein's Corner Shop for 1 August 2019. Okay, so the first thing that you always do when you get a general ledger is that you classify accounts, and then the second thing you do is you post opening balances. And as I've promised, we will always give you the opening balances in the beginning of a posting question. Okay, the reason why I highlighted August 2019 is because it's very important that you know what month you are working with, because this will actually determine when you post the column totals. Some months have 31 days, some months have 30 days, and one random month has 28 days. And you need to know how many days there are in a month, otherwise you might be penalized. Okay, so I would recommend the knuckle method. If you don't know what the knuckle method is, that's your homework after you've watched this video. Go and find out. Okay, so let's quickly run through our general ledger, classify accounts, and then post these opening balances. Your ledger was given to you. Let's start with trading inventory. You need to know by now that trading inventory is an asset, and assets form part of debt, so the plus is on the debit side. Bank is also an asset. The plus is also on the debit side. And remember, the plus is on the one side, the minus is on the opposite side. Debtors control is also an asset with a plus on the debit side. And then be careful, because now you've come into a little pattern of making the plus on the debit side the whole time. Okay, but creditors control is not an asset. Creditors control means that we owe people money. In other words, we are liable to pay them back, so it's a liability. Liabilities form the L of click and increases on the credit side. Okay, and then in your nominal section, we only work with 2 accounts: sales, which is an owner's equity income account that increases on the plus side. And if you watched the video that I posted on Monday, you would have heard that I gave you a little tip. In Form 2, the nominal section accounts are only ever affected on their plus side. So what I would recommend is that after you've made that plus on the credit side of sales, to draw a little cross through the debit side of sales, because we won't ever work on the minus side of sales in Form 2. Cost of sales is an expense which increases on the debit side because the E is the E of debt. And the same thing applies to cost of sales. We only work on the plus side in Form 2. This is true for all nominal accounts. Okay, so you can actually go and draw a cross through the minus side or the credit side. This will really help you. I said that to my Form 2s last year, and it also helped them quite a bit. Okay, and now that we've made our plus and minus signs, we can go and post these opening balances. Remember, the rule with opening balances is that it always goes to the plus side of an account. Okay, so I'm now going to focus on these amounts. I'm not going to go back and forth. Just remember, this is where I got the information from. Okay, so the opening balance for trading inventory will go to the plus side of trading inventory, which is the debit side. Remember, opening balances in the balance sheet section are called balance brought down. So you will write August 2019, the first balance brought down, and the value was 109,000 Rand. Then the next opening balance was bank, which will always also go to the plus side, and it's balance sheet section. So you write 2019, the first balance brought down, and the value was 332,000 Rand. Then the next opening balance was debtors control. Okay, we're still working on the debit side because it's the plus side of debtors control, and it's balance sheet section, so you're right, 2019, the 1st of August, balance brought down, and the value was 113,000 Rand, 750. And then the last balance sheet section account is creditors control, but remember that creditors control increases on the credit side. It's in the name, creditors control. So now on the credit side, you will write August 2019, the 1st, balance brought down, and the value was 75,000 Rand. I hope you notice that this is extremely repetitive. And what I've done so far has already scored you at least 4 marks. 4 very easy marks. Then the nominal section, okay, the opening balance still goes to the plus side because we only work on the plus side. But now for some or other unknown reason, we decided to change the wording from balance brought down to total brought forward. Remember this. I promise you this is where most of the Form 2s last year lost their marks. Okay, so on the plus side of sales, you write August 2019, the 1st, but you write total brought forward. And the value is 196,000 Rand. And then cost of sales is an expense. The plus is on the debit side, so we're going to work on the debit side. Remember, this cross indicates that we're not allowed to work on the credit side in any case. Okay, so on the debit side, you write August 2019, the 1st. It's still part of the nominal section, so you write total brought forward, and the value was 140,000 Rand. Where did I get these values? Here. They are given to you. Opening balances on the 1st of August. Okay. Now, if we read further, it says you are required to use the completed journals to post the following general ledger accounts of Stein's Corner Shop for August 2019. Okay, and the accounts that you need to post to are once again given to you. It's the big 6. Now, you would have noticed that I only gave you like summarized versions of the 4 journals. I only gave you the columns and then the column total values. And this is the same format as it is in posting exercise 3. And it's the same format as we will use for the rest of the year. Okay, both of these posting exercises came from old November exam papers. So this is what you can expect. Don't let it throw you off. It's just there to make things simpler. Now, let's start. I'm going to post journal by journal, starting with the CRJ. And I hope you can remember the CRJ rule is that bank is debited because we receive cash. So it increases our asset, and everything else is credited except for cost of sales. So let's focus on this 23,882 Rand, which is the total money that we have received in our bank account for this month. So when you go to your bank account in the general ledger, on the plus side, because you received money, you will write the 31st of August because August has 31 days. Total receipts. Remember, that's the details for the bank column in the CRJ. Folio says what journal we are busy with, the CRJ, and the value was 23,882. Then the sales column, this 7,882, goes to the credit side of sales. Okay, so let's go to our sales account. On the credit side, you will write the 31st because it's a column total. And now you write bank. Why? Because this column represents cash sales, and the money that we received for the cash sales in the cash receipts journal will be put into our bank account. You write CRJ, and the value was 7,882 Rand. Then the next column is cost of sales. But remember that cost of sales is an exception. I'm even going to highlight it in a different color. Cost of sales is the odd one out. Okay, it doesn't go with the rest. Cost of sales only has one friend, and that friend is trading inventory. So this value must be posted to 2 places. It's only the cost of sales values that goes to 2 places in the general ledger, to the debit side of cost of sales and the credit side of trading inventory. So let's start with that debit. In cost of sales on the debit side, you will write the 31st because it's a column total. And cost of sales as friend is trading inventory. So you write trading inventory. What journal are we busy with? Still the CRJ, and the value of that column was 5,630 Rand. But remember what I just said, this value must go to two places. It also goes to the credit side of trading inventory. Okay, but now I want you to focus. It's the first time that we're working on this side of trading inventory. So you have to remember to write August 2019 again. Otherwise, you will be penalized. Okay, it's still a column total, so it's the 31st. And what are we busy with? With the cost of sales column from the CRJ. So you write cost of sales. CRJ, 5,630 Rand. Then the last column is this debtors control column in the CRJ. Now, what this column means, okay, remember what I said in the video on Monday, is that debtors control means that people owe us money. But if debtors control appears in the CRJ, it says that we have received cash from our debtors. In other words, didn't want to highlight everything, but in other words, our debtors are paying us back. We are receiving money from them. So they owe us less money. That's why this 16,000 Rand goes to the credit side of debtors control. Another reason why is because bank was debited, so sales and debtors control must be credited. Okay, so in debtors control on the credit side, you have to write August 2019 because it's the first time we're working on this side. The 31st because it's a column total that we're working with. It comes from the CRJ, and the money that we received from these debtors will be put into our bank account. That's why I write bank in the details column. CRJ is the folio, and the value was 16,000 Rand. Now we're done with the CRJ, so we can go and look at the CPJ. Remember, the CPJ means that we are paying cash, and bank is our main column. But now, because we are spending money, our bank decreases. So this 19,800 Rand will go to the side where bank decreases, which is the credit side. And because bank is credited, every single other amount is debited with no exception. Okay, so let's go and look at bank. On the credit side of bank, you have to write the date first, August 2019. It's a column total, so it's the 31st. And remember, we have made many different types of payments in the CPJ from our bank account. We don't list them individually, we just write total payments. The journal is CPJ and the value was 19,800 Rand. Now, the first column after bank is creditors control. Okay, so remember what I said on Monday is that creditors control represent people that we owe money to. But if creditors control appears in the cash payments journal, it means that we've actually made some cash payments to the people that we owe money to. So now we owe them less money. That's why this 15,000 Rand goes to the side where creditors control decrease. And if you look at your ledger, you will see creditors control decreases on the debit side. So on the debit side of creditors control, you will have to write August 2019, the 31st, bank. Why bank? Because the money that we used to pay our creditors with came from our bank account. Okay, we got this value from the CPJ and the amount was 15,000 Rand. Then the last column in the CPJ that we are going to use is the trading inventory column. Okay, what this means is that we've bought trading inventory and we've paid for it in cash. So it goes to the side where our trading inventory increased because now we've got more stock in our store. And if you look at trading inventory, it increases on the debit side. So you have to write the 31st because it's the column total. And then we got the money from our bank account to pay for the trading inventory in cash. So you write bank. We're busy with the CPJ and the value was 4,550 Rand. Now we are done with the CPJ. We don't care about this 250 in sundry accounts because we are only focusing on posting to the big 6 accounts. Our next journal is the CJ. Now remember what this journal means, or what it represents, is everything that we've bought but that we haven't paid for yet. Okay, so in this journal we are buying on account, and therefore the people that we owe money to, in other words our creditors, okay, balance just gets more and more and more. We owe them more and more and more money because we've bought trading inventory and packing materials and something else without paying immediately. So this 82,000 Rand will go to the side where creditors control increase. And if you look at your general ledger, creditors control increases on the credit side. Okay, so on the credit side, you will have to write the 31st. And now we've bought different types of things without paying, but we don't list them all individually because creditors control is the main column in the CJ. So we just say total purchases. Please don't write total payments because the whole idea of the CJ is that we haven't paid yet. Okay, the journal we are busy with is the CJ and the value was 82,000 Rand. Then the next column in the CJ is trading inventory, 23,950 Rand. And what this means is that we've bought 23,950 Rand worth of products on account. Okay, but we've bought them. So now we've got more products. So this value must go to the side where trading inventory increases. And if you look at the trading inventory account, it increases on the debit side. Okay, but now where did we bought it without paying, so we owe more money. Therefore, the details is creditors control. And the journal we're busy with is the CJ. And the value of the stock that we bought on account was 23,950 Rand. It doesn't matter which one of these two you write first, as long as bank CPJ and that value is in the same line, and creditors control CJ and that value is in the same line, that's fine, because both of them took place at the end of the month. Okay, so you can swap these two around, that's fine. Then if you look at your CJ, we don't care about anything else in the CJ. We don't care about this packing materials amount because packing materials is not a big 6. It's like when you go to the Kruger National Park and you see some impala. At a point in time, you don't care because the impala is not part of the big 5. Okay, so packing materials is the impala of accounting at this point in time. The same with sundry accounts. Just leave them. And then the last journal that you have to post is the debtors journal. Now, remember what I said on Monday is that debtors represents the people that owe us money. And people can owe us money because we sell to them on credit. In other words, we sell products to them and they don't pay us immediately. Okay, they will pay us later. And the more and more and more we sell to them, the more and more and more money they owe us. Okay, so that's why this sales value, this 12,040 Rand, must go to the side where debtors control increase because our debtors now owe us more money because we sold more stuff to them on credit. Okay, so on the plus side of debtors control, you will write the 31st because we're working with a column total. And the contra account for this is sales because the debtors owe us more money because we've made a sale or more than one sale to our debtors. The value comes from the DJ and the value was 12,040 Rand. But now the debtors control or the debtors journal works a little bit differently. Every column goes to 2 places in the DJ. Okay, so we already have the debit leg of the sales column. Now we need the credit leg. And if you think about it, our sales must also increase. Okay, so now we will work on the credit side of sales. Why do our sales increase? Because we made more sales, but we didn't receive money for it, so we can't write bank. People bought on account, so people owe us money, and the fancy accounting term for that is debtors control. Okay, we're still busy with the DJ, and it's still that value that we got from the sales column. And then the last column that you need to post is this cost of sales column, and the cost of sales rule stays the same as it was for the CRJ. Cost of sales always goes with trading inventory. This value goes to the debit side of the cost of sales account and the credit side of the trading inventory account. And the only difference is now you can't write CRJ, you must write DJ because we're busy with the debtors journal. So let's start with the debit leg of that column. It's in cost of sales. Don't have to write the 31st again because it's still at the end of the month. You have to write trading inventory because that's cost of sales' friend. Cost of sales only has one friend. Okay, what journal are we busy with? The DJ, and the value was 8,600 Rand. And now we're not done yet. We have to post this value to the credit side of trading inventory. Okay, so in trading inventory on the credit side, you don't have to write the 31st again, but you have to write cost of sales, okay, and DJ and the 8,600 Rand. And that's it. You've posted to the big six. All you have to do now is you have to finish off. The balance sheet section accounts are all balanced. Okay, so how do you balance an account? On the plus side, you add the values together that are already there. So you get the sum of these three values. You write the answer in the double lines on both sides of the account. Then on the minus side of the account, you do a little subtraction. So you say the value in the double lines minus the values that are already there. So 137,500 Rand minus 8,600 minus 5,630 gives you 123,270. And what is that? That is the amount of products that you've got left in your storeroom at the end of August. So that is the balance that you will carry down to the next month. Carry down to where? To the opposite side. Okay. When on the 1st of September, you brought this balance down of 123,270. So that means when your store opens on the morning of the 1st of September, the amount of stock that you've got left in your storeroom is now worth 123,270 Rand. The same with bank. You total the values on the plus side and you write the answer in the double lines on both sides. Then on the minus side, you minus 355,882 minus 19,800 gives you 336,082. What is that? The balance that you will carry down to the next month. Okay, so on the 1st of September, the balance that you have brought down from the previous month, in other words, the balance that you will start with in your bank account is 336,082. These two values must always be the same. If they're not the same, you actually lose a mark. Okay, debtors control, same thing. Total the plus side, write the answer in both double lines. Subtract the two values on the minus side. Get the answer, write it there. That's the balance that you will carry down to the 1st of the next month on the opposite side. Okay, and what this actually means in terms of debtors control is when September starts, the total amount of money that people owe us is 109,790 Rand. Creditors control has the same principle, but now the plus side is on the credit side. Okay, so you total the values on the plus side. Okay, you can even tell yourself that this little plus stands for add these two values together. You write the total in the double lines on both sides. And then on the minus side, you minus 157,000 minus 15,000 gives you 142,000. That's the balance that you will carry down to the next month on the opposite side. Okay, so what this means in terms of creditors control, it means that when September starts, the total amount of money that we owe to other companies, okay, in other words, our balance of the amount of money that we owe is 142,000. Okay, and then when you get to the nominal section, you can take a deep breath because now all the complicated stuff are dealt with. So you can just total these amounts. Okay, these three values, you can just add them together and write the total in the double lines. Don't write anything fancy-smancy here. Don't waste your time. Okay, and the same with cost of sales. You can just add these three values together and write the total in the double lines. Don't write anything there. I hope this video made sense to you, and I hope you will use your knowledge when you do posting exercise 3.